Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. For today's video we are going to be making this front drawstring long sleeve top that you can also wear as a normal top, or you can just ruche up the front. Anyway, this is what the top looks like front and back. Absolutely amazing. Now let's get into the tutorial. So when you purchase your pattern, you are going to get this PDF document. On your PDF document, there's a little section that says the layout of this PDF pattern. This shows you how your pages need to be assembled together when you print them out. Also, we do have layers printing available, meaning that you can just select whichever size that you want, or you can just print all the sizes at once. It's all up to you. Now, everything you need to know will also be on your PDF pattern. You want to make sure that you are printing at 100% or actual size, and also snip off the right border and the bottom border, and then overlap it with your next page. That is how you put everything together. This is the layout for this pattern. Now, okay, let's actually get this started. Here are my pieces. I'm using 4-way stretch fabric with about 50% stretch percentage. You can even go up to 70% stretch percentage. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my front and my back piece, put it right sides together, put them right sides together, and then I'm pinning the shoulder and also the side seam. Now, please note that your back piece may seem slightly shorter than your front. All you have to do is just stretch it like that, match up your notches, and everything will go cohesively. Yeah, so the front is slightly longer than the back. You just have to ease them, and you will be easing them at the between the notches, because that's where the size difference is. Okay, so now I'm just gonna stitch using a straight stitch for my shoulders and my side seams. When I'm done with this, I'm going to take it to my serger and serge those seams. You don't need to serge them. If you don't have a serger, just go ahead and use your sewing machine. And yeah, for this part, you're just going to be using the straight stitch. Okay, now when I'm done with that, I'm just going to neaten those loose threads by just taking my loop turn and putting it under my stitch, my chain, and then pulling that loose thread into it, tucking it inside, and then just cutting off the excess. That's how we make those loose threads nice and neat. Now I'm going to attach my binding. I'm taking my top and folding it in half, matching those side seams. Then I'm going to measure. You don't need to do this part because yours came with a binding. So yeah, but yeah, I'm just going to measure, and then whatever the measurement I get, I'm going to multiply it by 2, because remember I folded, and then I'm going to take whatever that is, I'm going to multiply it by 2, like I said, and then I'm going to multiply it by 0.8, which is 80%. It gives me the 80% of that measurement. That is how I'm going to make it. I want my binding to be slightly shorter because I want it to fit very closely to my skin. I don't want it to sag or get droopy. That's what happens when you cut it the same exact size. Now I did notch the center of that binding, and I am just going to also notch the center of my top by just putting the shoulder seams together and then marking that center back like that. Then I'm just going to take my binding and then take those 2 notches, match them up, and then I'm going to stitch it. When I'm stitching it, all I'm going to do is I'm going to just stretch my binding to fit that entire part. So I'm going to be using a straight stitch for this part. So yeah. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just push my seam allowance towards my binding and then fold my binding over on it. Then I'm going to just stitch in that little crease over there, that ditch. I want to stitch in the ditch. I want that stitch to be as, you know, invisible as possible. Here it is, I've stitched it. Sorry for not, you know, having the part where I'm just actually doing the stitching, but you're just stitching it right over there using a straight stitch. And from there we're just gonna trim off that excess seam allowance. Try to cut it as close as you can. The closer you cut it, the more neater it looks. So that's how I would do that. You could also do this using a twin needle, but it's really not necessary. Just go ahead and just, yeah, stitch it using a straight stitch and then cut it off, and then voila, our binding is attached. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and just hem the top, right? So just fold it inwards by half an inch. Yeah, I hope that I did mention that this pattern, the seam allowance is already included in the pattern. So after I'm done hemming my top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those center front seams, put them right sides together, of course, and then I'm just going to stitch at the half an inch seam allowance line. And then when I'm done with that, I'm just going to open those seams up, and then I'm just going to stitch some channeling to put my drawstrings in. So you can make the channeling as wide as you want. It's all up to you at this point. Okay, at this point I now have my channeling for my drawstring. So now I'm going to quickly move on to my sleeves. What you're going to do with the sleeves is just fold them right sides together and then stitch that side seam. So yes, the inseam. So that's what you're going to do for it. When my sleeves are done, I'm going to take them and turn them right side out, right inside out. I want to make sure that the right side of my sleeve is out, and then I am going to start pinning it to my top. Now remember, the seam of your sleeve needs to match the side seam of your top, and then the center notch at the sleeves will match the shoulder seam of your top. The two notches at the back will match the back, and the one notch in the front will match the front notch of your top. So now I am going to be hemming my wrist on the sleeve. I'm just doing this by folding my wrist in by half an inch, and then I'm just going to stitch using a zigzag stitch, and that's how you're going to hem your wrists. Okay, good guys. So the next thing I'm going to do is just make a quick drawstring for my top by just taking a piece of fabric, however long you want your straps to be. I've just cut out like a strap, folding it right sides together, and just sewing a strap like I normally would, or a drawstring as I normally would. I'm going to take it to my surgeon and just serge after this to cut off the excess, and then I want to turn it inside out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my loop turner and put it in on the one end of my top, and then I'm going to hook my drawstring, put it all the way out, and then take my loop turner, go from the bottom this time, and then pull it from the top, hook it on the top and put it on the top. So yeah, you guys will just see what I'm doing. Yes, when I'm done with this part, you can just tie a knot. Make sure that your strap is like equal. You can just rouge it up, whatever it is that you want, rouge it as much as you want, and then tie a knot on the ends. You don't really have to, but you can, and then your top is done. This is what the top is going to come out looking like. Absolutely cute. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.